I just watched the Seahawks-Rams game the entire way through with my dad downstairs, and it ended probably no more than about 20 or so minutes ago. I have some thoughts about that game. Now, it was a thrilling game. It was a very entertaining game, albeit not with the outcome that I would have desired. So I'm just gonna kind of just shuffle through the thoughts that I have about it. I want really badly to go to the offense first thing. One, I'm just kind of an offense guy, but two, the offense in this game, at least the Seahawks offense, was memorable, but in all the wrong ways. Before I do that, I just want to start off with some bright spots, because there were a couple of bright spots, right? I mean, the special teams held up great in coverage. They didn't relinquish too many big returns or any very favorable field position to the Rams. Made 4 field goals, I think, right? 4 field goals. How about the defense? I mean, the defense did fantastic, right? There were some big runs given up early in the game. Definitely did not help in terms of putting us into a favorable situation, but for the most part, they held up. They damn near shut out the Rams for like the latter 3 quarters of the game, which, I mean, if you're going against this Rams offense and you're putting up that much of a performance, you deserve more than your fair share of props. You did more than your best shot to help us win the game. They punted 3 times more than we did because our defense was that good. Stafford didn't get sacked. He did get pressured. I mean, that guy is just... he knows how to get the ball out of his hands in time in a way that's not illegal. There was a forced fumble. Puka Nacua caught a ball and it was punched out by Kobe Bryant, our safety. And so that was a pretty big turn of events in that game. That was one turnover. I believe there might have been another, which was the turnover on downs to begin the game. There was that one dubious penalty. It was on Devin Witherspoon when he was making what I would think was a very routine tackle to get the runner down before he could sprint further down sideline, and that was called for unnecessary roughness. It was just horse shit. That basically gave the Rams, an easy first down, allowed them to enter our part of the field, and that was the Rams' opening drive. So the defense did more than their fair share to contain the offense. Now, you can't really ask for more of an effort by your defense to limit the Rams' offense as much as you did, given the circumstances. And that leads me over to the other side of the ball, the offense, which I did say that we punted the ball 3 times less than the Rams did. They punted 6 times, and we only punted 2. But you'll notice in the time of possession comparison that our time eclipses theirs by about 15 and a half minutes. And for a 60-minute game, that is a long time. That is significantly longer time that you had the ball on offense. And the reason why you didn't punt the ball often, it really comes down to one thing. And it's really unfortunate that this is the case, because he has been such a bright spot all season. And I know there's going to be people climbing out of the woodworks, talking about how he was a fraud and he's a shit quarterback and that he has no business taking the Seahawks to any higher aspirations in the playoffs. Sam Darnold, man, I don't know what happened out there. He's 0-3 against the Rams since the start of last season. Now, you can argue that his first loss against them when he was early in his season with the Vikings was down to a series of unfortunate circumstances, some injuries, their offense kind of stalled out, and also, not to mention, that missed face mask penalty at the end of the game that basically sealed it for the Rams because they got a safety. This was not Sam Darnold, or Sam Darney, as I call him sometimes. This was Sam Darnett, right? This is the Sam Darnold from the Jets who was in... the same one who was in such a stupor back in 2019 against the Patriots that he was caught on the hot mic admitting that he was seeing ghosts on the field.
Seeing ghosts.
Because he was unable to make proper plays and read the field correctly. This is exactly what happened here. You throw 4 interceptions. 4 interceptions. We may have only punted 2 times, but those interceptions essentially felt like 4 more punts. Don't force it in there, Like, I know it's easy for me to say, because I'm just watching. There's so many times where Darnold was just forcing throws. The first interception happened when he got pressured. Oluwatimi, he was the starting center, was getting pushed up into his lap, and he just sort of dances, fires off his back foot, really his heel at that point, to Cooper Kupp, and ball gets undercut and intercepted. Then you get the second interception, which is almost that same thing is happening again, where again the pocket is closing in on him. He just flings this off his back foot to JSN, and then that ball gets undercut and intercepted. The third one, there were so many interceptions, it's kind of hard to know the order of it, but I know one came, he was trying to target Arroyo, and I don't know if it was miscommunication or just a wrong route run. The other one, which is really bad, again, I don't know if it was the third or fourth one, where he's just getting pressured and he just jump balls it right into the traffic in the middle of the field, and it gets snagged. Again, even though we punted only twice this game, it feels like we punted as much as the Rams did, because we turned it over so many times through the air. They would be talking about in-game, like the announcers would be talking about in-game, Clinton Kubiak and sort of his stubbornness and not switching his approach because they wanted to stay as committed to their game plan and philosophy as they can. Well, if the game gets out of hand in the way that it did, and it's not like the Rams ran up the scoreboard, again, the defense was just that good. When the game gets that out of hand, especially with turnovers, I feel like there has to be a change for something. I mean, that last touchdown drive that brought the game within 2 points, they were doing things differently than they were all game. They were going up-tempo, quick passes. There was a point in the game where you just felt like they should have done that much earlier, but they were sticking to running the ball kind of inconsistently, which, while it does set the defense up to be duped, for when we do pass the ball, it kind of felt like you were wasting downs. Again, you were down early in this game. You don't want to just get so cute with it and start kicking field goals. You want to be able to attack that lead. Can't have that if you're trying to win a football game. What matters is you get the win, especially against what I consider to be the cockroaches of the NFC West. You cannot let the Rams stick around, and that's exactly what happened. The offense had its job cut out for it, and they just didn't deliver. This wasn't the product that I wasn't expecting to see. And there's another story right there. Their punter laid an absolute. You couldn't have made. You couldn't have done a better punt than that. To have the punt inside the one just go out of bounds right before it goes into the end zone for a touchback. And if we had saved a few more seconds on the clock, oh my god. And it all came down to that Jason Myers 61-yard field goal attempt where, the moment that thing got off the ground, you just knew it wasn't going to make it. It was so wide right that you were just like, fuck it, this game's over, when it happened. Now, I had to watch the Rams celebrate up and down the sideline again, knowing they got away with it. It's just, it's a whole cycle of like what could have been. Not all is lost, of course, but it's just kind of like that. This is something that you feel like you could have won. It's not even that the Rams dominated this game. It's like a gun backfire, but you don't turn it the other way to shoot at the other guy. You just hold it, keep holding it in that same position and let yourself get shot like 4 times. Or it's like when you watch one of those freak accident videos, but it's not like the gory ones that you see on like Live Leak or something, but it's like those funny ones where you think, okay, this couldn't possibly go wrong, and then that's exactly what happens, and it's just like, how the fuck? But I mean, you could commend the effort towards the end, but that's not the way to go out. I mean, what matters is that you win, People know that the Seahawks can play good football. I've seen it myself. It's not like if you won this game, people would have discredited you from the start because of how sloppy it was. No, they know you can play good football. You're playing against a good, capable team, a very impressive defense, because I can't really name a lot of people on that defense. They're not really superstars for the Rams. So Chris Shula, he's doing something good there. I don't want to give too much credit because I'm salty. That's just the way it is. And it just sucks to know how many missed opportunities there were. There was early on in the game kind of a Cooper Kupp would have been touchdown, but not really because the pass bounced off the turf. It wasn't complete to begin with, but there was that one Kenneth Walker or K9 touchdown that was wiped out due to a holding penalty on I think Collar Up 89. I was sipping water throughout the game, and I almost felt like after it ended, I began to develop a bit of a headache, like I hadn't drank enough water, that I was parched. Okay, that's enough rambling. I've already recorded about 20 minutes worth of material, so that should be it.
Darnold in trouble. Jump throw.